But then one night, Abdullah bin Zayd radiallahu anh had a dream. In that dream, he was taught the words of Adhan, which are the words that we use today to call the Adhan. In the morning, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam finished leading Salatul Fajr, Abdullah bin Zayd radiallahu anh came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he narrated his dream. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I had a dream last night, and in my dream I was taught these words, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And he explained that these words were taught to me as the words of Adhan. So the Prophet ﷺ appreciated that, and he said, "Innaha la ru'ya haqqin." This is a true dream which has been given to teach the words of Adhan. So that was the day when Adhan became prescribed. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, instead of calling Abdullah bin Zayd radiallahu anhu, who had the dream of these words of Adhan, to have the honor to call the Adhan, he said, "Qum ma'a Bilal wa alqi alayhi." Go stand with Bilal and convey these words of Adhan to him. Teach him these words of Adhan. فَإِنَّهُ أَنْدَى وَأَمَدُّ صَوْتًا مِّنْهُ. Because he has more beautiful voice and louder voice. So let him call the Adhan, but you teach him the words of Adhan. So Bilal radiallahu anh got up on a higher place, and he was being fed the words of Adhan by Abdullah bin Zayd radiallahu anh in his ear. And Bilal radiallahu anh started calling Adhan loudly and in this beautiful melodious tone. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. When the Adhan was being called for the very first time in the history of Islam, and of course for the very first time in the blessed city of Medina, people started rushing to the masjid. And one of the first people to hear the words of Adhan and rush to the masjid was none other than Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu. He was in such a hurry when he started hearing the words of Adhan from the mouth of Bilal radiallahu anhu, that he didn't even bother to tighten his clothes. His lower garment was still dragging on the floor when he was coming to the masjid. Yajurru izara. And as soon as the Adhan finished, he came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I swear by Allah, the one who sent you with truth, I had these words in my dream as well, 20 nights ago. But then I was forgotten. I forgot about these words and I forgot to say it to you. And when I heard these words being called, I did not find courage to say it to you quickly because I was embarrassed. And now I can tell you that I had the same dream and I was given these words in the dream as well. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, yes, that is true. And this confirms it even more that these words are taught by Jibreel alayhi salam, by the angel. Then there's another narration which says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he heard that dream, he recalled his own memory. He had heard the same words as well, but not here, not in Makkah, in heavens. In heavens, when he went on the night of Mi'raj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked angels to call Adhan in front of him. So he heard the same words in heavens, the words of Adhan that we use today. But when he came down, he forgot that as well. Until this night came, until the time of the dream of Abdullah bin Zayd radiallahu anhu came. So this is the beginning of Adhan. And there's so many other things that are related to Adhan. But one thing that's important to take away from this hadith is the message that the person who saw the dream was Abdullah bin Zayd radiallahu anhu. The person who had the honor of hearing the words of Adhan perhaps and sharing the words of Adhan with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam Before anybody else was Abdullah bin Zayd radiallahu anhu. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him that you teach these words to Bilal and let him be the mu'adhin, the first mu'adhin in Islam. Before that, there was no mu'adhin in Islam. Let him be the first mu'adhin in Islam. Let him call the first adhan in Islam, because he has two things that you don't have. Number one, he has better voice. Number two, he has louder voice. So now in our times, the technology has made us independent of the need for being a louder voice. Now we have the microphone, we have the speakers. So even if you have very low voice, all you have to do is increase the volume. Increase this volume on the speaker, and it becomes louder and louder and louder. So that has been eliminated. That's not an expected thing anymore. But the second thing still stands as it was on that day. That the one who has more beautiful voice in Adhan, this is something that's expected in Adhan. If someone is calling Adhan with such a boring voice, it's going to turn people off. So a mu'adhin should be someone who has beautiful voice. When you hear the Adhan in Makkah, or when you hear the Adhan in Medina, it reinvigorates your spirit, and you just want to go to the masjid. You just feel like, subhanallah, the whole climate changes when you hear the good Adhan. Imagine, and there are some mu'adhin in Makkah too. I know one whose Adhan is not good. When he calls Adhan, it actually turns down the whole environment. So a good mu'adhin is going to awaken that sense in the people of making ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This adds to the good environment. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ told Abdullah bin Zayd, teach these words to Bilal, because Bilal has a better voice, he has more beautiful voice, and he has louder voice. Beautiful voice is going to awaken people's senses to do ibadah, and louder voice is going to help reach the sound of Adhan as far as possible.
That's why everybody should not get up, do the Adhan.
Learn first.